My name is Sarah. Welcome to the It's a Sarah podcast. Today is Tuesday, November 1st, and this is episode 44. I love to knit, I love to crochet, and I love to talk, so that's the perfect combination for this podcast. I'm coming to you from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutch English. I make 2 episodes every Monday, one in Dutch and one in English. Today is Tuesday. Yesterday I had other things to do, so Tuesday it is. I'm feeling not very well. I think I have a cold. I've learned how to say it in English. I think I'm feeling a bit under the weather. I think that's how you say it. I have a stiffy nose. Actually, I have a stiffy head. Does that exist? I just filmed my Dutch episode and I noticed my concentration is not good. I'm just so tired. But yesterday I wasn't able to make a podcast, and today I was, but I was not feeling well. I'm not feeling well, but I felt the motivation I had. I was looking forward to make an episode. So let's make one. Let's make a short one, and then I will rest on my couch with my knitting in my hand, and it will all come good. And come good is a Dutch thing to say. Het komt goed. It will end good. I think you say it like that in English. Good. I'm rambling. I'm rambling because of my stiffy head. I don't know if a stiffy head exists. Yes, I do know, because it's on my body, that stiffy head. I really will try not to sniff or to cough, but I can promise it won't happen. But I have some tea next to me. So. But of course, I want to tell you all about my progress in the mystery knit along. And in my Dutch episodes I had some other things to tell about also, but I don't think they are relevant for the English episode. Maybe a little quick quick look on this magazine. This is from Durable. I always call it Durable. It's a Dutch wool company, and they bring out a magazine, I guess twice a year, because this is the autumn-winter edition. It is in Dutch. I don't think it's available in English. I'm not quite sure, but it's a nice magazine with 9 knit and crochet patterns and some interviews. And I am in one of the interviews, and that was a nice surprise, although it wasn't a surprise because I knew I would be. Let's see. It is an item about sustainability, and I'm not quite sure if I am the perfect example of a sustainable maker. But I'm very proud to be in it. There was an interview, and I think I get more sustainable every day, every hour, every minute. And my sustainability journey is, I think there are a lot of Dutch makers who will recognize themselves in my journey, I guess. I don't know. There were 2 other Dutch makers. Maybe you know Jessica. She's from Studio Forest Friends. If you don't know her, check her because she's lovely. She has quite a Waldorfy inspired feed on Instagram. I love her feed. I love her posts. Yeah. And she's a very, very lovely lady. So Studio Forest Friends on Instagram. And there's also Charlie. Charlie is also a Dutch maker. She does a lot in Dutch. So I don't think you can check her, but it's all in Dutch. My Instagram is also in Dutch. Here's me. Here I am. I guess here I am. Love it. I say you need less than you think. And that's here. Je hebt minder nodig dan je denkt. You need less. You need less than you think. Is that a good sentence? I don't know, but I think it's very smart that when I read it, I thought, oh yes, Sarah, you're right. It was a good reminder. So, Modern Retro, very nice magazine. I also was telling about another knitting day in the Netherlands, organized by another nice knitter, Truida. And I was also telling about, that's interesting for the English podcast too. I am invited to a knitting party in a very nice yarn shop in the Netherlands. There is a Dutch knitter, Maartje. Her name is I Knit on Instagram, and she just published her first knitting book, and that's quite nice because there are not a lot of knitting books in Dutch knitting books. That's not true. Maybe there are, but not the modern knitting. No, I don't know. Mainly it are translations, or it is knitting. In the Netherlands we knit a lot back and forth in parts and not top down. And I don't know if I think she did. I didn't. I don't have the book yet, so but Maartje is a mother knitter, which knit who you know, she knits on circular needles and all that stuff, and so I guess the patterns are also that way in her knitting book. So I am invited to her knitting party on which she launched her book, and it's in a lovely yarn shop, but it's not in my neighborhood. And I think it sounds quite funny for people in other country because we live in quite a small country. The Netherlands is quite small. And I live in the south of the Netherlands. You can travel by car in one day or by train, and it's no problem. But it feels quite far. So I don't travel a lot. When we are going on holiday, on vacation, we do, but not for just a day. So the yarn store is in another part of the Netherlands, and it's 2.5 hours, a 2.5 hour drive away from where I live. And that's way too much for me. 2.5 hour drive. It is much for everyone, I guess, but sometimes when I watch American podcasts or Canadian or whatever, these countries are so much bigger. Maybe 2.5. That's easy. That's practically your neighbor when someone lives 2.5 hours away. I don't know. Maybe that isn't right, but that's the way I think. Other people think, but for me it was way too far. And I checked if I could go by train, because I love traveling by train when you can knit when you are sitting in the train. But it was also quite far, and it's in a very little village in the east of the Netherlands. And there isn't a train station, and you can go by bus, but it wasn't possible. My app didn't have a solution to come there. So I checked some things, but there was not a good option. And then I decided to stay a weekend. I never go away a weekend on my own, and I once did with our mobile home, no caravan. The thing you put behind your car, the little house you put behind your car. And I did go. I have 3 kids and a husband, and I think someone's coming home. No, I'm not quite sure. I have 3 kids and a husband, and I love being with them, but I also love being alone. I think a lot of women recognize that feeling. But I never go away alone on my own. I once did, and it was lovely. Being alone for more than a few hours is lovely, and it's quite weird. But now I will have a knitting weekend. I will drive to the place on Friday, and then I stay at a lovely little old farm. I booked it with Airbnb. I never did, but it sounds lovely and it looks lovely. I have a pink room with a flowery bed and a little table, and that's all I need. I will take my knitting light with me, because I hope I have finished my mystery knit along by then, and then I will knit on my test knit for Rebecca for the Creabea podcast, the curse sweater. I still have 3 weeks to finish it, and I will do, and I'm very looking forward to it. But it's I knit it in black yarn, so it's quite important I don't forget my knitting light. So I will sit on that table and knit, and no one will disturb me. And it's only me and my knitting, and I will go for a walk, and I will go to visit the nice book party and all the lovely people who are there. And then I will go back to my knitting room and knit, and stay another night. And then I will go home and cuddle all my kids and my husband and my dog. So I'm looking forward to it. So that's all this stuff I want to tell, because the rest of my podcast will I'm sorry. It only will be mystery knit along, because mystery knit along it is for almost 4 weeks right now in my lovely project bag from Rachel. Let's see, I don't know where I was exactly last week. I was never gonna finish clue 3 before clue 4 was coming out. I didn't. I knew it last Monday, and I didn't. It was my plan to finish every clue before the next one came out, but then I had such a busy agenda. I didn't plan any extra knitting time to do such a knitting challenge. So that was a good lesson. When you plan a knitting challenge, you also have to plan some extra time for it. And I didn't. But I knitted all the time. And there were a few times I knit a bit on my sock, because my mystery knit along was on not on the go work. It was on a hard part, or I needed the instructions, the videos from Steven, or I had to pay attention. So a few times I knitted a bit on my sock, but it was hardly anything. Mainly mystery knit along all the time. But although I didn't finish clue 3, when clue 4 was out, I immediately checked the end of the video, of Steven's video, because I always do. This is enough mystery for me. I'm too curious I just want to know. When I saw clue 4, I thought, okay. The first part, I'm gonna tell about clue 4. I am actually knitting clue 4. So if you don't want to hear, skip this podcast. I'm going to tell you about it, and I'm going to show you what I made. First, the wings, the stripy wings. You fill up the gap you have with the long. Oh, I forgot to tell what I wear. Oh, I have to start the video with that. Oh, mystery knit along. I will be back to you soon. What I am wearing, because it's very nice to tell you about this. It's a very old knit. but it's actually my first colorwork knit. So it's a special knit to me. I started knitting because of the colorwork. I love the colorwork sweaters and cardigans. I love the colorwork jokes, but for quite some years, I thought colorwork was way too hard for me. I would never manage colorwork. But I wanted it so badly that I skipped that thought and just did it. And I just did it. It cost me quite some time and willpower to finish it, but I did. And let's start. I think I finished, I made this in the summer of 2018. Is that a good? 2018. This is the Vintersol sweater. It's a pattern. It's a sweater pattern. I knitted a sweater at first. It is a pattern from Jennifer Steingass from Knit Love Wool. I wouldn't I wouldn't say it's a beginner friendly pattern because I don't know if I remember it quite correctly, but I think you cast on stitches for the yoke and you knit bottom up, and then you have your stitches on waste yarn and you pick them up and knit top down the rest. So I think later I made fern and feather, and that's much more easy. Just start at the top and knit down. But I didn't know. I just picked this pattern because I liked it. I knitted it in a superwash merino yarn. I would never choose this yarn again. Not superwash merino for a colorwork sweater, but I am happy I did because of the merino, I wear this sweater all year long in winter, but also on cooler summer days or cooler summer nights. The merino is nice to my skin. And I must say, although it is merino yarn, it doesn't pill a lot and it stays quite good. It is from Lang Yarns I say. It was also gifted to me. Let's say I picked the colors. I did an online order, but I remember it was quite hard to pick the colors online from a screen. But I'm very happy with the color combination. I have a beige and a dark brown and a dark green. Merino, superwash merino isn't very forgivable. Is that a good word? You see all the increases here, and I also at this part I think it could be I didn't do the increases and the decreases on the right way because it was my first time. I remember we were on holiday and we were camping and we had no internet at our place, but there was one spot on the camping at the campfire place where there was internet. So every time it was my first English pattern, I guess. So every knitting term I didn't know. I have to check on YouTube. So every time I was walking from our place to the internet place on the camping and watch YouTube tutorials, and then I could knit on my sweater. It was a sweater, and I made it with I guess 0 ease. But wearing this sweater didn't make me happy. I was very happy with the end result, but I'm not a sweater person, not a high neckline sweater person. So every time I wore it, every time I did wear it, when I was standing still and I could put it down, it was okay. But when I was moving, this was always bothering me, annoying me. I didn't like it. So I learned steeking from a lovely lady. I know, and she told me how to steek. Steeking was a mystery to me. How do you steek? How dare you cut in your knitting work? But she told me, and she told me a way. There are a lot of steeking ways, several steeking ways. I don't know if there are a lot, but she learned me one. And because I was knitting with merino, so superwash merino yarn, she learned me the way with reinforcement on your sewing machine. And because it was originally a sweater, I didn't plan this steek, so I had no steek stitches at the front, no steeking panel at the front, so I just cut in the middle. I marked my middle stitches, and the pattern is broken. Do you say it like that? I reinforced, and then I made a steek sandwich. I love the steek sandwich because I love a proper inside. You don't see the steeking ends. I did try a crochet reinforcement later, but I don't love the messy inside. I love that this is nice, and I know you can cover it with a ribbon, but at the moment it's not my thing. So I did a steek sandwich. I picked up stitches, then I knitted some row stockinette, one row, I purled one row, and then I knit again some row stockinette, and I folded double. I bound off with an I-cord bind off, so that's a nice, oh, it's dog hair. It's a nice straight edge. And then I folded double and sewn it by hand, and the rough steeking side is covered in my steek sandwich, and yeah, I love it. And later I picked up at the purl row, the purl bumps, again the stitches, and then I knitted the bottom band, and yeah, I love this way of steeking. I also see people knitting the button band with the steek sandwich, so the buttonholes in the steek sandwich. But maybe I will try it, because you don't have this part. I do like this part. It's good for me. I'm a bit afraid you will see the ends of the cutting side, or the yarn ends, the steeking sides, through the buttonholes. I have to practice. I have to look at that, how that works, because I didn't plan this to be a cardigan, and the ease was 0. When after steeking, I couldn't. It isn't fitting. It is too tight to fit well. You can see it. This doesn't make sense, but I wear it like this, like an open cardigan, and yeah, it's perfect on dresses and also on the skirt. It's a bit long for on a skirt, but I would never make it this long again, but I did, and yeah, I love it. I wear it a lot, and yeah, there are a lot of things. The color work on the sleeves is too tight. You can see it. The border, the rib border, the ribbed hems are much looser than this, and there is a bit of color work here. I never would do it again, but one day I will make this Vintersol cardigan again. I will make a cardigan in some non-superwash yarn. I think, yeah, I would love that, because I love the pattern. I'm very happy. I also wear a vest. I know it's not a spencer. In Dutch we say a spencer, but it is a vest. You call it a vest. And it's a Dutch pattern. You can hardly see it because it's black yarn, but it's a lovely pattern from a Dutch knitter, and her name is Nienke van Mooi van Draad. And this vest is what I wanted to say. Oh, she originally knitted in parts, but I knitted it in a round. That was my modification until here, and then I knit back and forth. But the fitting is perfect. The yarn I used isn't, but the fitting is perfect. And together with this cardigan, this is one of my most worn items, because this black layer is perfect under cardigans or under jackets, and I love it. I knitted it with Wool Addicts Glory. It's also a superwash merino yarn, and I added a little lace weight yarn. but it is pilling, and every time I wear it, it becomes less beautiful, the yarn. And I really want to knit one in non-superwash yarn, so she had also the option of using Alafos Lopi. And it is in my stash for quite a while. It is in my knitting planning for, I think, a year now. I have black Alafos Lopi and some beige. I want to make 2 Penelope, so this is how it's called, Penelope Spencers, because they are the perfect layer for winter. And for spring and autumn also, because it's just a warm woolen layer, and you can wear it with a long sleeved or short sleeved t-shirt under it, and it's perfect. So when I finished my mystery knit along and then my test knit for the curve sweater, I definitely want to focus on some neutral, plain garments. Also this Spencer, not a Spencer, also this vest. And I have a cardigan pattern in my head, 2 cardigans and 2 vests, because I love to knit with colorful yarn and different colors, color work and that. But in daily life, I prefer to wear more neutral stuff. So I want to focus on that, and I have quite some lead Lopi and Alafos Lopi and other non-superwash yarn, and I want to make some warm woody layers because it's still quite warm here in the Netherlands. It's November 1st. I love November. My birthday is in November, so that's my time of the year, I guess. But it is quite warm. You can go outside without a jacket or without a cardigan, and that's insane because it never happens in November. So, but it is now. But it will be cold one day, so I will need the warm layers. I already have enough warm layers, so but I need more. You understand, I'm quite sure. Okay, now we can go to the mystery knit along. Okay, clue 4. Now I forgot what I was telling. I was checking. Yeah, maybe I was there. I was checking clue 4, and I saw Stephen's last part. Oh yeah, I was with the wings, and I was with the stripy wings. I love the stripy wings. I did expect he would fill in the part between clue 2 and this long slip stitched cabled knit thing on both sides, and actually we did fill. He planned to fill it with stripes, and I love to knit stripes, so I did that. But then the part under clue 1, under the lovely braids, under the chevrons with the braids, and more chevrons, and I actually like the chevrons, but what I didn't like was the difference between the chevron part and the wings. It was not one part, it was the wings and then the chevrons. It was like a cape, a superhero cape. Of course, everybody's a superhero, so I am too, but I don't need a superhero cape. But I would make it. I immediately decide I will make it because this mystery knit along is not about making the perfect shawl for me to wear, but just enjoying the process. And I am enjoying the process. I think it's a lovely knit. I enjoy every stitch. I have a lot of fun, and I had my doubts about the last part of clue 4, but it is his design and I will respect that. And when he put it on, not the chevron part on the back, but when he put it on like a shawl with the chevron part at the front and then the wings beside, I thought, oh, maybe it's a nice wear that way. So that was my plan. And I was a bit behind, but last Sunday I also wasn't feeling well. we would go watch a rugby game for my oldest, for my son. And we have to travel a bit, and I was looking forward to the knitting time in the car and to watch my son, but I wasn't feeling good. So I skipped that and I stayed home. So I had all day for knitting. And that was quite some extra unexpected knitting time. And then the first part of clue 4 flew off my needles. And it was fun. Then I have to show it. The first thing I didn't finish clue 3. I almost do, but I'm still at the I-cord part. I'm knitting my last I-cord now. I did start with using my accent color. I knitted them on small DPNs, 3mm, and I have a lace weight yarn. Here it is. I have a lace weight yarn held together with a sock yarn, with a thin sock yarn for my accent color. But I didn't like knitting the I-cords. And there was no need for a lace weight yarn held together, and I was thinking, how can I improve my my knitting, or maybe I could better say, how could I decrease? Yes, how could I decrease my time for knitting this I-cords? Because I love the effect, but I didn't love to do it. And then was there the other thing. This is my contrast color. Let's see, where are you all? It's a bit a yarny mess here on my lap. This is my contrast color in which I made the cable panel, and this is my accent color. And as you can see, both light colors, a very sweet combination, but not a lot of contrast. So that I-cord, that little I-cords didn't pop out really. So I thought, let's make them bigger, a little bit bigger, with the yarn held double. So I skipped the lace. I just held 2 strands of my accent color together and knitted them on 4mm DPN. So it went a bit quicker. They grow a bit quicker, and they were a little bit thicker. And I'm quite happy with the result. They are ready. On one part, let's see, where are you? This part is already ready. I do love the result of it because it quite a bit connects. Here's the accent color, and here it is, and here it is. It connects this part with this part. So although you can't see it very good, I didn't want to skip it, because it's just a little detail. I also love the cables this way, but I love the detail with the color. Okay, so I'm making my last I-cord, and then I will put the other 5 from the other wing in it. But I started already the stripes of the of clue 4, and I really love knitting that stripes. My first, I made a mistake with closing the gaps of the short rows. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. It's a bit messy. And again, I didn't put my needle in the right way. I wasn't feeling well when I did this, and I was totally okay with it. I had no brain space to check what I was doing wrong and how I could fix that mistakes. And I was absolutely okay. It is in a dark yarn, and when you look at it, you see it, but when you don't know, you don't know. So it was okay for me. And when I was picking up the second wing, I realized what I did wrong. And when I did think about it maybe 1 minute longer, I could have fixed it quite easily. But it didn't happen, so it's okay. What I loved about the stripes, I love to knit the stripes, I absolutely do. And it also is quite nice that you have big stripes and they will become little less stitch on your needle. So they they fly, they fly. Don't laugh. Don't laugh, then you cough. They fly off your needle, and I love it. And it's a bit curly, it has to be blocked, but I love it. I love it, really. So I did the other wing. I finished it last night. And yeah, I don't have the mistake there. It looks better. Although I see those little bumps. Nah, it doesn't matter. And then last Sunday I was checking my Instagram, and it was quite nice that I did, because actually the past few weeks I didn't spend a lot of time on Instagram, because I have a very busy agenda and my head is full of inspiration. Last year I checked the Mystery Knit Along hashtag much more than this year. I was so curious. I was so I love to see other people's color combination, and this year I didn't feel that. I just want to focus on my own, and but I am very happy. I did check the post of Ruth in Dutch, Ruth. Of Ruth in Dutch. She's a Dutch knitter, the Knitting Hobbit, and she also has a knitting podcast in English, the Knitting Hobbit, on YouTube, and she finished her Mystery Knit Along, and I checked it, and she did a modification, and I immediately fell in love with her modification. And I also immediately knew that I would skip the last part of Clue 4, sorry Stephen, and will use Ruth's Way, because I love Ruth's Way. It was so fun. She made notes on her Ravelry page, so you can check on her project page from the Mystery Knit Along. I saw in her stories on Instagram today she will make an episode this weekend, in which she will show her Mystery Knit Along, her twists and turns, and she will explain what she did. But I checked her notes, and I can't wait till this weekend, so I already started, and I have the first part, so I will show you. Stephen, let's see how I will want to show. Stephen made. I need more arms. That would be lovely. When you have 4 arms, you can knit 2 things together at the same time. Stephen planned a chevron part in twisted rib with your accent color, and then a chevron part the same as here, much more pointy, I guess. So this part will be longer than this part, because there will not happen anything here. Ruth, can I say it in Dutch? Ruth, she made this little. Do you say chilloped? No. There is a way. I almost know in English. Shalloped way? No. Shalloped is not a good. No, I don't know. But Ruth made these little parts of twisted rib, picking up stitches on the way when you're going down, and then she has you have to make 4 of them in every chevron hole. And after that, you will make an I-cord bind off, which goes through the loops in the contrast color. So it will go all the way, and it will make one part of this part and this part. It will connect them, and I really loved it. I absolutely loved it. So I did these. I knitted this part on DPNs, 3mm DPNs, because I started on my circular needle, but it looks quite messy and it didn't work nice. The needle is too long. So I knit these on DPNs, and when I finished it, I put it on my circular needle. So now I will knit this part, and then part 3 and part 4, and when I finish them, they are all on my circular needle. I have to a bit higher, and I will finish it with a nycord bind off, and I really loved it. When I was knitting, and Ruth made notes so you can check it, and when I was knitting, I thought, oh, I missed Stephen's tutorial. Stephen makes it so easy to follow his pattern with his tutorials, with his YouTube tutorials. They are so relaxed and so fun. And now without his tutorials, and only the notes from Ruth, I have to think myself. I become a bit lazy, I guess. But it was also, I can do it. I absolutely can. So I am enjoying it a lot. And I'm also a bit surprised. I thought I would never finish this shawl before the deadline. My own deadline was 1 week after Clue 4 came out. So it will be this Thursday. And I would never make it. Last week I would never make it. It was not gonna happen. But now I don't think I'm gonna make it, but the only reason is because this Thursday I have day out with my mother and sister.